Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham, and on today's show, we're diving into the Chicago Bears' top 30 visits for the upcoming 2025 NFL Draft. So far, only 5 players have had their names publicly reported, but there are definitely more names that have probably been scheduled or might have already happened. We'll take a closer look at those 5 names today and break down the players we know about. Once we get more info, we'll be sure to follow up with another video, so stay tuned. But first, let's quickly revisit the current situation with the Bears draft selections. For those who may have missed it, the Bears have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds this year: the 10th, 39th, 41st, and 72nd overall picks. However, there's a catch. They don't have a 4th round pick this year, which means their next pick comes in the 5th round at pick 149. After that, they have 2 7th-round picks at 233 and 240. So, in total, they have 7 picks in this draft. That's where things stand for the Bears heading into the 2025 draft. If you're looking for real-time updates on the Bears' moves during the draft process, Twitter is definitely the place to be. I'm super close to hitting 13,000 followers, and if you haven't followed me yet, be sure to check out my Twitter account. We keep it updated with all the latest news, rumors, and updates on the Bears, and I often break things down faster than you can catch them in videos here on Bears Now. So, if you want instant updates, my Twitter handle is definitely a great source for that. Now, let's jump into the meat of today's video: the Bears' top 30 visits for the upcoming draft. As I mentioned earlier, 5 names have been reported so far, and we're going to talk about those and give you some insights into why these players are on the Bears' radar. So, let's get started with the first name that came up early, and it's a player who really caught my attention during the NFL Combine. The first player on the list is Boise State running back Ashton Gentry. His name was announced all the way back during the Combine, which stood out to me for a couple of reasons. First off, when a player gets a top 30 visit announced before the Combine is even over, that tells you a lot. It means the team has already met with the player of the Combine, they've liked what they saw on tape, and they want to take a closer look at him. For the Bears to show interest this early, it suggests that they see something special in Gentry, and it's worth noting that he's one of the players the Bears are heavily considering with their first-round pick. Gentry had an outstanding season for Boise State last year, and when you combine that with his excellent performance at the Combine, it's easy to see why he's on the Bears' radar. He's a special talent, and I honestly think he has the potential to be a high-level starter in the NFL. If the Bears have a chance to draft him at pick 10, I think they should seriously consider it. Gentry could step in right away and contribute to the Bears' offense, and he could even become a true game changer as time goes on. He's a great fit in Ben Johnson's offense, and pairing him with DeAndre Swift could create a dynamic backfield for Chicago. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that Gentry did a lot of work as a feature back at Boise State, so his touches in the NFL might need to be managed a little bit, especially in his rookie season. That's where someone like Swift would come into play, as he can handle a bigger workload in the early stages of Gentry's career. But I truly believe Gentry has the potential to be a 3-down back in this league from the get-go. And if he's there at pick 10, I think the Bears need to at least consider pulling the trigger on him. What do you guys think? Should the Bears draft Ashton Gentry at number 10 overall? Type D for draft or P for pass in the comments below, and let me know what you think about Gentry's fit with the Bears. Next up, we have a name that has been circulating for a while, and that's LSU offensive tackle Will Campbell. Campbell is another highly intriguing prospect, but his case is a little more polarizing, both among Bears fans and in the scouting community. He's a great athlete and showed off some solid tape during his time at LSU, but there's one major concern: his arm length. Will Campbell has shorter arms than most top offensive tackles, and that has raised questions about whether or not he can handle the left tackle position in the NFL. If the Bears believe that Campbell can develop into a starting left tackle, then he could be a fantastic pick at number 10, but that's a big if. We all know how crucial the left tackle position is, especially with a young quarterback like Justin Fields. If the Bears don't think Campbell can be their long-term solution at left tackle, then it becomes a tricky decision because they already have players like Jonah Jackson and Drew Dalman locked up for a while. It's not as simple as just taking the best player available, because you also have to consider how that player fits into your immediate plans. There's also the factor of how the Bears are going to build their offensive line moving forward. Do they need someone to step in immediately and play left tackle, or are they willing to bring someone like Campbell along more slowly? I think that if the Bears were to take Campbell at 10, it would be a decision heavily influenced by Ben Johnson's vision for the offense. Johnson has a track record of making the most out of players with raw talent, so it's possible that Campbell could develop into a solid left tackle over time. Then there's Josh Conley Jr. from LSU, who's another offensive tackle prospect to keep an eye on. Conley isn't as polished as Campbell, but he checks a lot of the physical boxes you look for in a potential NFL tackle. He's got the size, the athleticism, and the arm length that Campbell lacks. While Conley might not be as well regarded as Campbell in terms of his overall talent, he could be an intriguing option if the Bears are looking for competition at the left tackle spot. If the Bears don't take a tackle in the first round and Conley falls to pick 39, he could be an excellent choice in the second round. He's a bit raw, but with some time to develop, he could become a key player on the offensive line. That's just a quick overview of a couple of the top 30 visits the Bears are having, but there's a lot more to look forward to as we get closer to the draft. Who are some of the players you think the Bears should target? And what do you think about Gentry, Campbell, and Conley? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Now, moving on to the next intriguing player the Bears are taking a look at, SMU running back Brashard Smith. Smith is a fascinating prospect due to his unique journey in college football. He started his career at Miami, where he was used primarily as a wide receiver. However, his time there wasn't particularly productive. He was a role player in a deep rotation, which didn't give him the chance to truly shine. That all changed when he transferred to SMU, where he was moved to running back and really began to show what he could do. In 2023, he exploded onto the scene, racking up over 1,300 yards and averaging nearly 6 yards per carry. His ability to produce on the ground and in the air helped SMU become one of the most high-powered offenses in the country, and it earned him a lot of attention. Smith's background as a receiver is what really sets him apart from other running back prospects. His vision as a running back is still developing, but you can see the potential in his ability to create plays in space. He's a versatile player who could be a dynamic weapon in the NFL, especially in an offense like the Bears. Not only did he run the ball effectively, but he also showcased impressive skills as a pass catcher. With 18 total touchdowns and only 2 fumbles despite nearly 300 touches, Smith demonstrated a level of reliability and consistency that you don't always see in running back prospects, especially those transitioning from other positions. What makes Smith even more interesting is his performance at the NFL Combine. He ran a 4.39 in the 40-yard dash, which places him among the fastest players at his position. He's got that rare combination of speed, vision, and hands, and if the Bears were to bring him in, he could provide them with a unique skill set. However, I do wonder how he fits with the current backfield situation. The Bears already have DeAndre Swift, and I'm not sure if Smith and Swift's skill sets would mesh well. If Smith were drafted, it would likely mean that Swift could either be moved in a trade or let go after this season. They could certainly keep Swift for another year to mentor Smith, but the overlap in their skill sets is something to consider. If the Bears draft Smith, it's possible that they would develop him as a third-string or fourth-string running back for the first year, while giving him time to adjust to the NFL and further refine his skills as a ball carrier. He could also be a key contributor on special teams, particularly as a kick returner. In the future, if Smith continues to improve and grow in the NFL, he could eventually take over as the RB2 behind a more experienced back like Swift or whoever else the Bears bring in. He's a project, but one with a lot of upside, and the fact that the Bears are giving him a top 30 visit speaks to the potential they see in him. Next, let's talk about Oklahoma State linebacker Nick Martin, who's also been reported to have a top 30 visit with the Bears. Martin is an interesting player who could fly under the radar, especially in the early rounds of the draft. He's an explosive, undersized linebacker who played at about 220 to 225 pounds, which is a bit lighter than most of the linebackers in the NFL. However, many modern linebackers are now playing in that 225-230 pound range, as teams prioritize speed and athleticism in the position. Martin's ability to cover ground and his explosiveness are his most significant strengths, and his performance in 2023 showcased just how capable he is. In 2023, Martin posted an impressive 140 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, and a handful of sacks and interceptions. His ability to be used as a blitzer, as well as his coverage skills, make him a versatile option at linebacker. His combine performance only reinforced these traits, as he ran a 4.52 in the 40-yard dash, showcasing his explosiveness and speed. If Martin were healthy and able to stay on the field for a full season, he could be a real asset to the Bears linebacker group. The key question, though, is where he would fit into the team's long-term plans. With veterans like Tremaine Edmunds and TJ Edwards already in place as the starting inside linebackers, Martin might not be a full-time starter immediately. However, he could provide solid depth and would likely contribute on special teams early in his career. With a bit of NFL coaching, Martin could eventually develop into a more prominent role, possibly replacing one of the veterans down the road. I think this is another situation where the Bears are looking to add more athleticism to their linebacker core. While Edmunds and Edwards are both good players, the Bears might be looking to bring in someone like Martin to further bolster the depth of the position and add some youthful energy. He could eventually develop into a long-term solution as a starter, and it wouldn't be a surprise to see him contribute as a rotational player from the get-go. As for his fit with the current roster, Martin's explosiveness makes him a great fit for the Bears' defensive scheme, and it could be one of those picks that ends up paying off in a big way down the road. Now, I know you guys are probably wondering about the direction of the Bears' defense and how this fits into the big picture. The linebacker position is one that has been in flux for the Bears for some time now. While they have some solid players at the top, there's still uncertainty about who will be the future of the position beyond the current starters. If the Bears draft Martin, they could be setting themselves up for the future while adding some needed depth in the short term. Finally, let's talk about another potential sleeper that could intrigue the Bears, the tight end position. The Bears could look to add a young tight end, especially if they're looking to add depth behind Cole Kmet. There are a few prospects in this draft who could potentially fit into the Bears' offensive scheme, providing a dynamic threat both as a blocker and a receiver. While tight end isn't necessarily a pressing need for the Bears, the right player could bring versatility and depth to the position, and it's something to keep an eye on as we head into the draft. That being said, I think it's clear that the Bears are doing their due diligence in bringing in some of the top talent in this draft class. They've got some important decisions to make, and these top 30 visits are going to help shape the future of the team. Whether it's a running back, offensive tackle, linebacker, or even a sleeper pick later in the draft, these visits are a sign that the Bears are serious about finding the right players to help take this team to the next level. As always, I want to know what you think. Who are some of your favorite prospects in this draft class? Do you think the Bears are on the right track with their top 30 visits? Or do you have someone else in mind who would be a perfect fit for the team? Let me know in the comments below. Your feedback is always appreciated, and I love hearing your thoughts on how we can improve the Bears roster heading into 2025. Thanks again for tuning into Chicago Bears Now, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any updates as we continue to cover all the latest news, rumors, and updates on the team. We've got content coming your way every single day, so stay locked in with us. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a shocking twist that has left NFL fans across the country buzzing, rumors are swirling that Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs' superstar quarterback, might be considering a move to the Chicago Bears. While the likelihood of such a high-profile trade is slim, the mere idea has sparked a wave of speculation. Could the Bears, a team historically craving a franchise quarterback, be preparing to make the most ambitious move in NFL history? And how could Mahomes, the player who's led his team to multiple Super Bowl victories, fit into a franchise that's been rebuilding for years? The mere thought has set the stage for an off-season full of drama, and fans are on the edge of their seats, waiting for more details. Mahomes, who has redefined the quarterback position with his electrifying play and unparalleled talent, has been with the Chiefs since 2017. After leading his team to 4 Super Bowl appearances and winning 3 of them, Mahomes is widely regarded as one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. His ability to throw for over 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in a season, along with his Super Bowl MVP performances, has cemented his place among the league's elite. With his eye-popping contract extension in 2020, Mahomes seemed destined to remain with Kansas City for the long haul. Yet, the possibility of him leaving the Chiefs is now a conversation that is impossible to ignore. So, what could motivate Mahomes to join a team like the Chicago Bears? The Bears have struggled to find consistent quarterback play for decades, and with their current roster in need of a major overhaul, adding Mahomes could instantly transform the franchise. With a solid defense and a young roster filled with potential, Mahomes could be the missing piece needed to bring the Bears back to championship contention. The idea of Mahomes pairing with an emerging offensive core in Chicago has left fans imagining a team capable of competing for Super Bowls year after year. Still, it's important to remember the financial and contractual hurdles that would need to be overcome for such a move to happen. Mahomes' massive contract, currently the fourth largest in sports history, would require significant adjustments. The Chiefs would likely demand a massive trade package in return, which might include multiple first-round draft picks and star players. While the Bears certainly have the cap space and draft capital, pulling off a deal of this magnitude would be a complex and risky maneuver. Moreover, Mahomes has expressed his loyalty to the Chiefs, and any decision to leave the franchise would come as a major surprise to fans and analysts alike. As the offseason approaches, the speculation surrounding Mahomes and the Bears will only grow. Could this be the year that Chicago finally gets its long-awaited franchise quarterback? The clock is ticking, and the NFL world is watching closely to see if the impossible becomes reality. Stay tuned for updates. This story is far from over. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.